word is mostly searched word, and also in Amazon, so there are 65,000 plus books are available related to innovations. So that innovation, it is the mostly searched result for Google at the time of 2014. Now, that intellectual property rights, there are three words are there: intellectual, property, and rights. The intellectual means it's related to human intellectual mind. Then property means it's something that one owns or possesses. Then rights means a legal chain, legal claim. So that IPR is a legal claim granted to a product of the mind. It means the rights granted for innovations and inventions. So what are the legal claims of these rights? So that IPR can be licensed, or IPR can be sold, or IPR can be gifted, or IPR can be inherited. What is meant by inherited? Suppose that your grandparents are doing some Ayurvedic medicine like that. So then that your parent also continuing that one, then that you can go for that, because already that product is patented by your grandparent. You can assume, because that previously that you don't have that much idea, you assume that your grandparent filed that particular patent, so that your parent also use that patent and you can also use that patent. Or sometimes that you may give to another person also. For example, you are having some rights. For example, the cup and saucer. So your friend started some company that manufacturing that cup and saucer company. So you can give to that your patent, that IPR to that your friend. And also that you can sold that completely, you can sold that IPR. So you can give that power of attorney to that some other company, so that that company can use that IPR. Then it may be licensed. So for example, there are options are there. You can file the patent and you can get the license. So then that intellectual property rights. So that intellectual property rights were essential, are recognized and accepted all over the world due to some very important reasons. So to provide an incentive to individuals for new creations, to accord due recognitions to the creators and inventors, to ensure that material reward for intellectual property, to make the available genuine and original products. Because many people they are having that idea, even that I visited one school, so a school exhibition. So there I saw one girl is keeping that weighing machine, and also that two cylinders. One is it is a full cylinder, another one is a completely empty cylinder. So then that she kept that empty cylinder and reset to 0. Then she kept that full cylinder. So whenever the cylinders are usages are increased, it means that gases are reduced, means at certain stage, for example, that weight is coming around 1 kg means, so that time it will give alarm, so that you can book the cylinder. Because normally that if you are booking the cylinder in the middle means, if the cylinder comes means you have to, for an example that you are having that half cylinder also, you have to submit and you can refill your gas. So that is the main drawback. So that is one of the best invention I saw. That is a small thing, only that weighing machine and 2 cylinders. She shown that demonstration. So that actually that one of these chief guests came and he told that better that they instructed that particular teacher to file the patent, because that is the innovative ideas. Even that in our house also that our mothers are doing. For example, that they are taking some cloth choked with the water and they are keeping in the cylinder. So after some 2 to 3 minutes, that whatever the empty parts are there, so that part that complete that part will be dry, and the remaining that if for example that half of the cylinders are available means that bottom half it will be like that wet only. So that is also simple technique, so that we can check whether the cylinders are, how much cylinders will be available like that. That is also one of the innovative idea. So for example that one problem, I told that 2 solutions, but even though that n number of solutions may be available. So the property may be it may be tangible or intangible. So the tangible means that we can divide as movable or immovable. So the movable means it's a vehicle or that any type of vehicle. Then immovable means it's a building or building like that. So for intangible, we can apply that intellectual property. So that intellectual property may be industrial property related or copyrights related. For an example, that manuals are there, lab manuals are there. So who is preferring the lab manual? Who is preparing the lab manual? A concerned faculty members. So he is having rights to apply for copyrights. For example, he applied for copyrights means, for example, if other college they are using means, he can file the case and he can get some penalty. So that in the industrial property related, it is a patent or design or trademark or GIs. This is geographical indications. Then the various kind of IPRs. So first one is a patent. So patent is, it may be an invention. So it may be a product or processes or materials or compositions. So for an example, that you can file a design also. That EC department. So they are having that circuit diagrams. Even some complicated circuit diagrams. So they can file. So the design patents are there. So they can file for design patent. For example, that you are a civil student. So you are doing one prototype. So that also you can file for one patent. Or you are creating some material. So that material is so the weight is also very less. For that the composition also you can apply for the patent. So in the future, if many companies they are referring means, first they will check only that IPRs. So there are Google patents are there. So if you are searching in the Google, there are a lot of resources are there. You search in the Google search engine, Google patent. So that link will be coming. So from that, you can see a lot of patents are available. So whatever that your ideas are there. For example, that in your mind, some ideas may be there. So for that idea, you can search in the Google. So suppose that previously any patents are available. Or else, you can check that Indian patent. So that Indian patent websites are available. So there you can see what are the patents are available. So with that complete description and circuit diagrams, everything, it is available. And apart from that, the US patents are there, then that Australian patents are there, then Korean patents are there. Like that, many countries, they are creating their own. So that as per this survey, only that China is leading in that filing the number of patents. India is in that 4th or 5th place only. The first is China. So in China they are encouraging the re-engineering. What is the re-engineering? Do you have any idea? Suppose this is a new product. They sold in China. The first thing is what they will do now? They will dismantle all the part. And we are creating that equivalent one. So normal the torchlight. So for example, that if you are going that some market, roadside market means, for the normal torch they will sold for 10 rupees. So what is the cost of that ICs and all? Normally that IC's cost is around that. So if they are going for that MOSFET or JFET like that, the cost is around that 40 to 50 rupees. But with the help of the capacitors, they are constructing the circuit. So the capacitors are very cheap. It is that one capacitor, it is I think that 1 paise something only. 1 paise or 2 paise. So with the help of capacitor, they are manufacturing that equivalent circuit. Normally that normal torchlight, so if you are purchasing in the Philips or some other product means, they are using that JFET or MOSFET, like that only they are using. The cost is heavy, that's why they are selling for minimum that 300 to 400 rupees. But the same quality means that same, they are selling for 10 rupees. Because they are doing that re-engineering. So in re-engineering, what are the operations are there, that equivalent operation they are creating with the capacitors. and small resistor. So with help of resistor they are forming that circuit. So that they can sold for 10 rupees also. Whether you are preferring that 400 or 500 rupees touch or 10 rupees touch. Because the 10 rupees touch they are using the LED. But normal touch they are using that sodium light only. So the illumination also it is very high in the 10 rupees touch. So the most of the people they are preferring that one only. The lifetime also is for 1 month only. For example, you are spending that 300 rupees for 1 year. So instead of that, you can purchase the 10 rupees touch for 1 month. It is cheaper, no? So that one only for re-engineering, for all the work, whatever the re-engineering they are doing, immediately they are filing the patent. So that's why the technology is high, and also the government is funding for re-engineering also. Even that it is not only for China, even that South Korea also they are funding for re-engineering, and Japan also they are funding for re-engineering. But in other countries they are only funding for the innovation idea. It means that whatever that idea is there or whatever small changes are there, for that only they are providing that funding. So the patent is like that inventions and technical solution to a technical problem. The next one is the industrial design. So industrial design means it's an external feature appealing to the eye. It's a new shape, pattern or configurations. Then the trademark. What is the trademark? Whether you can use the Coca-Cola logo for your new brand. For example, that you are producing a new brand. Whether you can apply for that. It's a trademark. So a visual symbol such as that word or name or logo or label or monogram or slogan, etc. And applied on article of manufacture or services, so which indicates the origin of goods and services. Then the next one is the copyrights. I already told that maybe that article, artists are literacy or musical or dramatic creations. It is a proprietary rights. It comes into that existence as soon as the work is created. Then the next one is a geographical indications. The best example is Hyderabad biryani. Because that biryani means that first thing, not only for the Telangana or Andhra, even that other states also. The biryani means it's mainly that they are talking about Hyderabad. And also that many things are there. So it's identify agricultural, natural or manufactured goods originating from the defined territory in India. It is a possessing special quality or regulations based upon the unique characteristics of the geographical locations. So this is the organization structure. So that mainly is a Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Department of Industrial Policy and Promotions. So it's, then the next level is the Controller General of Patents and Design and Trademarks. Then for Patent and Design Office, so there are 4 headquarters are there. One is Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai. For trademark registry, it is only Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai and Ahmedabad. For geographical indications registry, it is only in Chennai. And for patent information systems, it is RGNI, IBM and Nagpur. Next one. So this is a patent office in Mumbai. Next. So this is a patent office in Chennai. So patent office in New Delhi. So this is a patent office in Kolkata. So then the validity of IPR. For example, patent means it's a 20 years. But then every year that you have to go for renewal, it means that once your patent is granted. First thing is you have to file the patent. So once you are filing the patent, after that examinations under, so they will provide one number, the patent number. Then after that next round of examinations, once that your patent is granted, then that you will go for the renewal also. So Then the trademark means it's a lifelong. For example, like Coca-Cola. So the Coca-Cola trademarks they can use for their lifetime. Then for design, it is for 15 years. Then copyrights, it was 60 years. Then geographical indication, so that is also for lifelong. But after 10 years, you have to go for renewal. So the relation between the IPRs. So the logo of Coca-Cola is an example of trademark. So the shape of bottle is also it is a industrial design. Then patent may have been obtained in respect of bottling equipments. So what are the materials they are using, and for Coca-Cola means that what are the ingredient they are adding. So these kind of things and that we can go for the patent. Then copyrights means in respect of text, database or artistic work appearing on the website. So it means a single product can be protected by more than one IPR. So for this Coca-Cola bottle, you can go for the trademark, you can go for the industrial design, and you can go for patent, and you can go for copyrights. So then what is the relationship between that everything? So you can find a patent for fan and mobile also. For mobile cover, for example, it's an Apple cover, it's a trademark. Then for design, for fan design, you can go for industrial design. And the Tirupati Ledo, it is a geographical locations. And for Coca-Cola, you can go for patent or trade secret or industrial design or trademark. In geographical indication, it is Kotapuri chappal. So the design is completely different from the normal chappal. So nowadays that you are having the parent chappal or some other chappal. So that design is different. But that one is completely different. So the first one is a patent. So if the exclusive right of inventor to prevent others from possessing, using, selling or manufacturing and importing the patent innovations or offering to do any of this with the definite geographical area. So that once that you are filing the patent, for example, you are creating one design, for that you got some patent means the same design are used by some other industry or someone stole your ideas and they are creating the new which is related to your old one. That also you can file the case. So the patents are territorial jurisdictions. We have to register patent in all countries where we have our interest. So for example that I am having that one Australian patent, I filed one Australian patent. But the thing is that for Indian patent means we have to wait for some 4 years for grant. But for Australian patent, so at the time of registration, we are getting that grant also. Within a month, we can get the patent grant also. But for India means that we have to apply for that patent. Then after that first round of scrutiny, that application is accepted means then that first they are telling that your application is received like that. It means that your patents are registered. Then again that you have to pay for some money and you have to go for that examinations. Then only your patent will be granted. But if you are getting that Indian patent grant means it is very difficult and the value is very high. So this is a patent application. So this is a website you can apply for that patent. So that website is www.ipindia.nic.in. So the exclusive monopoly rights. So granted by Government of India for an invention to the inventor or his assignee. So in that patent there may be two. One is applicant, another is an inventor. So that applicant may be different, that inventor may be different. For example, I am giving all the rights to my principal for applying that patent. So I developed one product. So for that product, I gave the full authority to principal to file the patent. So he cannot be the inventor. He is the applicant, but the inventor is mine, so that he can file the patent, so that the both will be got benefited. So as a territorial rights, view of the disclosure of invention of the government, the term of patent is 20 years from the date of time. So this is the act and rule. So there are several acts are there. Next. So this is the criteria of patentability. The first thing is novelty. So what is meant by novelty? It is your own idea. You cannot steal from some other idea. So that inventive, that step, and it must be non-obvious. Then capable of industrial applications, not found within the provision section 3 and 4 of the Patent Act 1970. So there are 1970 some acts given. So this is the type of patent. So there are 4 different types of patent. One is simplicity patent, design patent, then plant patent, then reissue patent. I think that some fonts are missing. So this is the first patent filed in the year of 1790 by US. So this is the design patent. It is related to one mechanical tool. So they are filing this patent. This is the first patent registered in US. So this is another some examples of patent. For example, that old age man, you want to change the channel. So now only that we are having the remote runner, but in previous days we have with the help of that knob only we have to change. We have to whether that if you want to increase also, if you want to decrease the volume also, we have to use. So for that he is with the help of that stick he is using. So he is changing the channel or he is increasing or decreasing the volume. So that also they can patent. And the next one is umbrella for dog. So this is also